You're listening to the City World Radio Network, high-definition digital radio broadcasting from the city to the world. www.cityworldradio.com.
This is Lynn Macaron-Mara. This is Better Days, a positive approach to life. That's City World Radio. This is a call-in show, and the number is 212-631-7553. 212-631-7553. Tonight, I have a very special guest. Her name is Arly Daly. She is a massage therapist, New York State licensed. And she does a number of different things, which we will be exploring. She does sports massage, Swedish massage, energy work, emotional release, body work, aromatherapy. She works with young living essential oils, and she's also a nutritional consultations. Her cell phone number is 646-633-8710. I'll do that again, 646-633-8710. And she has a wonderful name for her website, which is www.energyhealingroad.com. We'll repeat it again later. So, Arly, thanks for coming.
Hi, it's so great to be here. I'm so excited about tonight. Lovely, really lovely. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, I'm not sure which avenue to explore first. I was thinking that since I am particularly in love with having massage, that we might want to start there as to how you began the journey of working hands-on work with people who are needing release and relief.
Well, I was going to make a joke and say you didn't know which avenue, but I like Fifth Avenue. But I don't want to tease people out there and have an office on Fifth Avenue yet. I'm 64 West 3rd Street at LaGuardia Place. How did I begin? That's a good question. Why did I begin? How did I begin? Well, actually, one of my clients will find this interesting. I think she may know this. She might be listening tonight. I worked for Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, and I was corporate. And it was the end of my stint in the corporate world, and I loved the corporate world, actually, for me, because I did well. I actually really did well. I wore a suit, and I did well, and I supported very high-end people. I worked with Goldman Sachs and many companies, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how to come on time and how to be professional and how to meet people's needs, my clients, my bosses and the people I work for. And it was actually a long time ago now. I've been in practice 18 years doing massage therapy, and I also do shiatsu, and I do many types of energy work. And in those days, I just didn't know I could do this. And people told me. Many, many friends said, you have beautiful hands. Can you put your hands on me? Can you show me what's going on with my shoulder? I did study nursing in my early 20s, so maybe I had the gift of healing. My family are healers, many people. My brother is a really good surgeon, and he has very, very beautiful healing hands. A lot of people in my family are doctors. But for me, it was a new world. It was a world of holistic ideas, of alternative ideas, of helping people without giving them a lot of intervention, a lot of medicines, it was helping them with ways that they could actually go home and do it themselves. And I'm not saying that I don't want anybody to book a session with me, but, people can really sit somewhere, even on the subway, quietly, if they knew the acupuncture points in their hands, they could really work on points. I used to do that when I first studied at the Swedish Institute. I would touch different points on my hands. Pericardium, for instance, I'm saying. This is shiatsu that I'm licensed in. And this stops anxiety, literally. Pericardium in the middle of your palm on both sides. If you hit that, and when I say hit, I don't mean hit. I mean touch it.
And make contact.
Make contact, exactly. And you don't have to make hard contact. It could be just the body feeling that spot, and the mind goes, whoa, oh my God. wow, that thought that just bothered me or that situation I'm dealing with at work, that's gone. What happened to that feeling? That feeling of stress or that feeling that I didn't quite like? Well, you can heal yourself with massage therapy and with shiatsu. I just remember one story a long time ago. A friend of mine is a Catholic priest. Maybe he's listening, I don't know. And one day he had upper respiratory issues and he had to be hospitalized. And he called me and said, I'm not feeling well, can you come? And I went to the hospital, and I was testing, because I was studying at the time, and I didn't really know what I was doing yet. But I thought, okay, why don't I do the lung points for him? And I started touching his lung points, which is by the chest, it's by the clavicle on both sides, which is the bone on both sides of your chest. And he could breathe. And the doctors came over and said, what are you doing to our patient? And I said, I'm studying massage and I'm studying shiatsu. And they said, okay, keep doing it. Keep breathing. That's a good thing. Whatever you're doing, it worked. And he was just smiling and saying, wow, it's lovely. My goodness.
Did you start with a massage as part of your alternative work?
Well,
actually, I mean, you said nursing and then...
I did nursing. I did some nursing in my early 20s, and I segued into other fields through my life. And then, again... in my 30s, I actually was married to a very eclectic man, and he helped me a lot with many, many ideas. He was a filmmaker. His family are filmmakers, and he could go I tell people this, he could do anything, he could go anywhere, and he knew a lot about life, and he showed me things. He was a very, very interesting person. Like he said, there's a new training that we should do. And I said, what is it? And he said, it's neuro-linguistic programming. And I was like,
NLP.
What is that? And he said, don't even think about it, let's do it. And because I love my husband, and I don't necessarily recommend people doing something they don't think about, but I jumped in and I became a master practitioner in NLP. And also I started a company. I worked with a company in those days, which was Chinese Herbs. It was a Chinese herbal company, very well-known company. And I realized, wow, I could interest people. I was corporate. But on my private time, I could interest people in all these different ideas that were alternative. And it was very interesting because a lot of I had worked for Pfizer, pharmaceuticals actually, and they were really nice to me. I worked, I don't necessarily want to say what department, but I worked on a very profound department at Pfizer. And I was mixing all these Chinese herbs at my desk. And the people said to me, what are you doing? And I told them, well, it's alternative herbs, they help with your stomach, they help with different things. And they said, okay, let's do it. And it was kind of like, wow, the doctors here at this company are doing Chinese herbs with me? So I learned a lot. People are very interested in anything that will help them.
But at the same token, a lot of people don't put any merit into it at all. And so it's hard to sometimes bridge between the Western and Eastern philosophies and to help people to see the benefit of it. Because in our culture, it is so Western oriented. I think in the last 20 years or so, there has been a more of a leaning or embracing or at least interest in working in many different alternatives. I mean, hospitals are introducing alternative medicines, and you hear even with cancer patients and working in that way that they include massage, they include shiatsu, all kinds of hypnotherapy, relaxation, yoga. All these have begun to become part of the lexicons, part of the work itself alongside medicine. It's no longer there, here and there. It's really more for blending. At least it seems that that's more of the trend now.
Well, I don't know. I love food. My family owned the top catering company in the world, and I'm not changing the subject. I'm just thinking, when you go to a restaurant, most people don't order very bland food. So they'll eat a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and they'll put spices in it so it'll taste good. Like even when people want to cure something, and I'm not allowed to say that I can, like I work with the top company in the world, Young Living Essential Oils, okay, and I'm not allowed to say that we can do anything with our oils. We're not allowed to make any claims with this company. We're a top company. We're $1 billion company. I'm a distributor with them. But what I could say is the blend like you're saying, Lynn, the blend of making a combination of the holistic ideas and the Western medicine is very powerful. And a lot of young doctors, it's funny, I travel from Montefiore Hospital. I live in the Northeast Bronx, and I do have a practice up there. If anyone's in Westchester in the Northeast Bronx, I work up there as well, and I work on LaGuardia Place by NYU. And when I travel, I meet doctors all the time because they're medical doctors who are going home from the hospital in the West Bronx. And there's quite a few hospitals in the West Bronx, major hospitals. And we'll start talking. I met a doctor recently. This is an amazing story. This guy was sitting there, and it said, Doctor somebody. I'm not going to say who he is. I don't want to talk about this doctor's name. But I said to him, oh, my God, you're a doctor. What do you do? He said, I'm a neurologist. And he was a child neurologist. And I said to him, wow, I do holistic medicine for a living. I'm not an MD, but I do holistic ideas. He said, oh, my God, I love that. And I was in shock. I really was in shock because a lot of my clients and patients will look at me and go, oh, we went to doctors, but they don't they don't know the whole list. What do you do? What does the essential oils do? What does shiatsu do? They don't know shiatsu.
Well, part of the problem, I think, with the holistic piece is that someone who's more on the chemistry and the exact and precision of supposedly pharmaceutical drugs and chemistry is certainly the route that many have taken, that there's a precision and there's an exact dosage. And I think people have difficulty with what feels so loosey-goosey about dosages and the impreciseness of it. And that seems to be a barrier for many people even trying or considering.
Totally. And I agree. That's exactly right. My brother, like I say, my brother's a surgeon, and that's exactly right. A lot of my friends who are medical doctors, and I have a lot of friends who are doctors, they always say, well, okay, you'll try your supplements, but how do is there contraindication, like with cancer meds or medication for people who have bipolar or whatever? What do the products that you might recommend do? Like, will they interfere with like interferon? Are they like interferon? Will they interfere with the liver? Will they interfere with hepatitis C? Will your stuff break our ability to kill that disease or kill the bacteria? And the answer is no. Usually natural products like green juice, if someone wants to make the blood alkaline, which I love the idea of making the blood alkaline. I studied with Dr. Robert Young, who's 2 PhDs in medicine. He's the alkalizer, one of the top alkaline doctors in the world, and I tell a lot, including if my ex-boyfriend's going to listen to this, I tell him all the time, make the blood alkaline and your pain will go away. You won't have pain in your hip. And if you use the essential oils, and I'm not allowed to make claims, the essential oils penetrate really deeply into an area. We're not allowed to say they do anything, but actually they may take pain away. They don't take the pain away, but they might help the body to recover itself. So is it true that if somebody has a certain amount, like 50 milligrams of something, or will it be contraindicated with an herb? Yes, sometimes it is. And it's really good for people not to just over the top give anybody anything or say, oh, this will help you, just eat that. It's really not good for people to just take anything or do anything without research. But now that people can research things on the Internet, they usually do research something. Like if I say to them, Dong Quai is really good for PMS or, hormonal imbalances. And I'm not an OBGYN. I'm not saying I am. I'm not allowed, to recommend hormone therapy or whatever. But yes, Dong Quai does affect people, or Maca. But how much? How much? Well, one thing I do, and I'm not saying I'm allowed to, I'm not an MD, I'm not a pharmacist, so I'm not really allowed to say, take this amount of Maca. But if people try different things, for instance, I'm a medical intuitive, so that helps a lot. I scan the body at times, and I'll say, wow, I think that you need an MRI. You need to go to my colleague, and I just did it in the street the other day. I was talking to a guy I know by Union Square, and I said to him, wow, you have something going on with your foot. And he said, yeah, I stepped in glass. And I'm like, oh, my God. And I gave him the name of my colleague who's an MD. He's an orthopedic doctor, orthopedic surgeon. And I said to this gentleman, you need an MRI on your foot. I mean, there's no way that holistic people should say, oh, don't ever, ever go to doctors. Don't ever take any medication. That is a foolish way to live. We need to make a blend.
Right.
Of
the combination of, I think what you said before, Arly, about finding what might be the side effects, how, and I think that there's just not enough between these two sciences, basically, between the East and West, to know how they're going to impact on each other and how to adjust for the other.
Exactly.
And because what you find is practitioners are either one or the other, that it's hard for them to find a way to combine the work and the way these materials, chemistry, work together.
Exactly. I mean, I'm thinking, it's funny as you're talking, I get interviewed on the Progressive Radio Network. It's not a rival of you folks, but it's Gary Null, Dr. Gary Null's. I'm not on Gary Null's show. I'm on someone else's show, but I know Gary Null, Dr. Gary Null. So I'm giving Gary a plug. Gary's very smart, and he's got a PhD, and a lot of people in the holistic world know Gary. But, you know,
he has his own challenges.
You know, he's very talented. But the thing is, what I notice is that we mustn't really do, and we mustn't do this in any world that we're in. We mustn't create duality. In other words, I'm better than them. Come to me. Don't go to them. They're better than me. Go to them. Don't come to me. This is all creating fear. And I always learned my whole life that fear is false evidence appearing real. Let us not separate from each other. This is what I work with archangels, and we haven't discussed that yet. I channel archangels.
We're going to have to talk about
the archangels. About it, but yeah, Archangel Michael has said through many channels. A friend of mine who's a channel, and another channels Archangel Michael. Michael always says, "Do not separate people from each other." It's like a friend of mine is Rick Olfick, and he owns a very powerful organization called We the World, which is a global organization for peace, and he's UN related. And I guess I'm name dropping a lot of friends, but Rick always says, we're all connected. It's a we world. It's not a me world. We need to connect with each other. And how do we connect? By not bashing each other, but saying, okay, you need to go to them, go to them. You need to go to me, come to me. You don't have to come to me first, come to me second. Or go to them last, or come to me last, whatever.
But how can we have conversations? I mean, what you're saying is really trying to connect different disciplines and how to bring them together. You know, I always sort of jokingly say that, you know, people say, let's have it all organic, no pesticides, no all kinds of stuff. That's all great, you know, but you think about natural things that can kill you, like arsenic, which is perfectly natural. There's all kinds of things that are natural that aren't necessarily good for you. But let's work in the positive. So when you have these two disciplines or multiple disciplines, how to get the community in conversation with each other so that there can be a lending, blending, and openness about possibilities. And I think that that's what you're talking about, that each one offers something different and yet with the same goal, which is to have the client work, have a successful outcome, free of pain, psychically or physically. And how do we have a conversation about that?
Well, you know, I think we're assuming that we mustn't assume how healthcare practitioners operate. And I shouldn't use the word operate, but we are all on the internet. We are all very savvy. I give us all credit. We've studied a lot. I've studied a lot. I have a lot of background in a lot of types of worldly things, you know, types of medicine. I had to study medicine, you know, a number of times, chemistry and the body. I know the body. I know how to heal myself.
But how do you get a conversation going?
How do I connect to someone else? Well, like I said, I meet doctors everywhere I go. It's a matter of each individual practitioner being willing to not be closed-minded. It's a matter of opening up the box. And we're saying that about everything. Get off the matrix. open up your mind. Eat better food. I don't know, eat more green vegetables, rather than eat a lot of junk food. Start eating healthier food. I'm working on that myself, eating healthier food, being more mindful of other people's feelings, being more thoughtful. As a healer, I have a big responsibility. We have a big responsibility as healers to be there for others and to, try to connect each other to each other. I connect to doctors all the time. Like I said, if I'm worried about, like I'm going to see someone tomorrow who has liver disease. I don't want to say it on the air who he is, but
Good.
He has liver disease. And, I've told him there's a doctor in his neighborhood at Roosevelt Hospital that I want him to go to. And I have to let him go there. He's more holistic than a lot of people, so he'd rather see me. I help him a lot. What do? I do massage. I do the liver points. I work on the liver points. I start to help. I can't say I heal anything. I don't think anybody really heals anything. I think we work on our patients to get them to feel better. And none of us are allowed to say, really, oh, I could heal her. No doctor ever says that also. I can heal your cancer, or I can heal your arthritis.
Well, they do. I mean, the doctors
say they're trying. They're working on it. They're considering it. They're giving the right meds, or they're giving the right treatment, and they send them to a PT, or they send them, I never met a doctor in my life that said to me, oh, come to me, I'll heal you. They would love to heal me, but they don't know they can. Nobody does. God heals people. I mean, I have to say that. The almighty healer is the Lord. His spirit is a higher frequency that we turn to. Do atheists get healed? Yes. Do they have a higher frequency? Yes. Is it okay to be an atheist? Yes. I'm getting myself in trouble already saying this on the air, but sure, because there isn't any real reality. It's all quantum. It's quantum physics. Everything is probable or possible or quantum, and that's what energy medicine is. It's quantum.
Of course it is. It's the collective knowledge of both components working together and getting a conversation.
I keep thinking this question is a complicated question, and most Americans are asking it now, actually, everywhere.
What
my
question?
Clients, my friends. Why would I come to you? I'm going to doctors. Mm-hmm. I'm okay. Sometimes they're not okay. It's happening to a family member of mine right now. He wants to come to me. He probably will come to me. He was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And so he's going to Sloan Kettering, and we're worried because we are a holistic family. And yet, okay, we're going to, it wasn't my decision. I cannot decide for him. He's not my child. He's my surrogate family's son. But we're seeing, but they're open. They called me and they said, what do you think? What do you know? Who do you know? So that's good. We're gonna try to help him on a number of different levels.
Well, and I think
that will be better for him.
And I think what you're saying is that offering alternatives, offering different paths to the same goal provides both support and comfort and hopefully some energy to heal the person in a way that brings I think the collective energy and the support that you're talking about, in addition to the oils or the aromatherapy or even massage therapy, all of these come together to provide relief for the person, which I think supports the immune system enormously. Having worked with women with menopause or perimenopause and or people who have just been enormously stressed out, caretaking, doing all different kinds of aspects of their life, I say, look,
well,
you haven't had massage. You need someone to make positive contact with you and to release some of the toxins that are being built up in your body. I mean, there isn't really...
Yeah, so what does massage do? Okay, and you're saying, it's interesting because I love massage. I like to get massages. I'll admit it.
Me too. I'll admit it as well.
I'm not a massage therapist that says to people, well, I don't get any, only for you. I only work on you, but I don't go and get. I love massage because what happens? I feel amazing afterwards. When I get a massage with a therapist that I think is really good, and what makes them really good, or what makes me really good? Well, I had a session with somebody yesterday, and when he finished the session, he said to me, "Oh my God, I don't know where I am. I'm floating." And he said, "I hope I can get to my car." He had to leave my building, and he was sort of like a little, disoriented. Like I said to him, "Are you okay? Sit down, have a water. Let's decompress for a minute." And I said, "Why did it work? What did you like about it?" And he said, "Well, first of all, I had pain." He's a runner. And, he's actually a stairmaster. He wins, competitions, and he's a married man, and he has kids, and he has a whole life, but he wins competitions running upstairs all over the country. And he's one of the most famous stairmasters.
I wonder.
That's what he does for a living. And, I shouldn't be talking about him,
but the massage,
he loves
really,
it.
But the massage is, when it's good, I always think that there's a telepathic connection between you and the masseuse, because I know I have a masseuse who I love, and she's in Highland Park in New Jersey. Her name is Rose Taveras, and I'm plugging her because I adore her. I call her Magic Hands, because I would be on the table and I would be thinking, oh, I really wish she would be working on my shoulder. And the next thing I know, that's where she is.
Right.
And that is, to me, is
she
the
read
strongest.
Right.
Well, I think she reads bodies very well. And I think all of us as healers, I, of course, am a psychotherapist, and I tune in to people in a verbal and a nonverbal way, watching their body and how they react to things. But all of us tune in. I mean, I think as a healer and as a therapist, they're interchangeable in a way that we provide for our clients an environment, a supportive, positive environment, which allows them to fully be present, and they allow us in, and in allowing us in, there's this growth and a connection to themselves and to others. And I think that expansiveness, that ability to grow in that moment, and even in that state of disorientation, it's about the strong connection and the letting go that they were able to have with you, because you allow it. There's a safety. There's a safety, and
I think I'm getting what you're saying, and I'm just trying to remember or realize, like, one thing I do when somebody walks in the door, they could be a stranger off the internet. So they walk in the door, and I don't know how I do this, especially in the village, but at my home also. I feel love. I don't know why, but immediately when they walk in my door, even if they're a total stranger, I feel like, oh, I can't wait to see what they need and how to meet their needs. I guess I do. I'm a people person, and I love these people. And I just think, okay, what can I do to help her? What can I do to help him? And I'll sit down and say, what bothers you? If I'm doing massage, I'll ask people to tell me about what's going on. If I'm doing the energy work, and I channel archangels, I'm a channel, I'm psychic, I'm a medical intuitive, so I do many things in the paranormal. When I do the energy work, I don't ask anybody anything about their life, and they sit down with me either on the phone, in a phone session, or one-on-one at my home or at my offices, or I make house calls. I make house calls also, and I can do a lot of phone work. And the archangels, the guides that I work with, know everything about them, literally everything. People have told me it's 99% accurate. And what I feel,
Arly, you're going to have to do you're going to have to talk more about that, because that is an area that I am completely novice on, and I'm sure our listeners would be curious as to what that actually means. Let me repeat that we are on City World Radio, and the caller number is 212-631-7553, 212-631-7553. And we'd love to hear you call in and talk to us about any of the aspects that we've been touching on today. Okay, Arly, back to the archangels.
Yes, ma'am. So, well, this is an interesting conversation because people have asked me through my life, who are you? Or I just have a memory of something that happened. I travel with a best friend of mine who we like to travel a lot. He's a best friend, and we're in Massachusetts. Literally, we go to Lee, Massachusetts. Anyone who's out there from Massachusetts, I love Massachusetts. Okay, I love the whole East Coast, and I like the U.S. I like traveling. So anyway, we get out of the car. We're going to have dinner. It's late in the afternoon. A man comes up to me and says, "Ma'am, can I talk to you for a minute?" And my friend rolls his eyes in his head, and he goes, "Oh God, here he comes again." Again. You know, he's, "Okay, I'll go away for 10 minutes, Arly. Please, don't make it too long. I'm hungry." And the guy says to me, "I know you have the gift." He says, "My mother is very ill. Can you spend a few minutes with me and tell me about my mommy?" And I just know he knows, and so I say, "Okay." So I take his hands, and I call them in, my guides. I call Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and as I'm calling them in now for all of you out there, I'm calling the angels in. Raphael, Haniel, Jophiel, Zadkiel, etc., Metatron, Merlin, Melchizedek. I'm calling the guides in, my guides. Ezekiel, I channel, and I use a crystal, and actually people everywhere I go want to touch the crystal that I wear. It's a channeled crystal. It's very powerful. I wear a lot of crystals. And actually people say to me, "What is that? Tell me what that crystal is. I want to buy that." Okay. So they get it. So I'm talking to the man. I'm touching his hands, and I told him, "It's okay. She's going to be okay. Calm yourself. It's all right." How do I do that? I do something that I don't really like to say on the air, but okay.
Well, maybe you don't. You want to?
I'm in a conversation with all you out there, and I do remote viewing. I have the gift of remote viewing. I have all the clairs, and anyone who knows energy medicine knows clairs. So I'm clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient. I have all the clairs. I'm a medical intuitive, and I do remote viewing. So in that moment, and it's not Arly really that would know his mother. I mean, there's no way that I can know my clients the way I know them. I do not know this material that well. My guides come in and know the client. Funny story, maybe a few years ago, a client came in and was talking about something, and I use a lot of analogies in the work, so try to get them to, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but I think what the guides are trying to do is get them to relate to something or to think about something that they're talking about or something like that. And we said to this person, "Remember when you had strawberries and cream for breakfast yesterday? That is kind of what it means to you now, blah, blah, blah," whatever we were talking about. And the person looked at me and went, "Do you follow me? Are you following me home? How did you know what I had for breakfast yesterday?" Because I channel archangels. And
all right, in the channeling, I'm going to pretend to be an audience who is unfamiliar with this. So when you're saying that you're channeling, now, is this something that you discovered about yourself? Is it something that you studied, or a combination of things? Because it sounds unique in terms of being able to access. Now, you consider them, I don't know how you see them. How do you see the angels? Are they voices? Are they connection with some past important people? How do you see it?
The answer is multifaceted.
Okay.
It's all of the above. And I don't have the gift. There is a very famous woman in the world. She's from England. I believe England or Scotland. Her name is Lorna Byrne, Byrnne, I believe. And her book is very interesting. And I have synchronicity surrounding me. So I'm at a girlfriend's house a few months ago, and I say to my girlfriend, "Wow, I'd like to get a book from you." And it's odd because I don't usually do that. I don't ask friends to give me books. So I said, "Can I buy a book from you?" And she's like, huh? I just came up, like things come up around me.
So what was the book that you wanted?
The book was Lorna Byrne, and it was on her shelf, and I just touched it, and I said, I need this book. And I don't know what I'm doing. So I touched the book, and my girlfriend's laughing hysterically. She says, you know what that book is about? And I was like, no. She said, it's about angels. She is from England or from, Great Britain, and she sees them, and her whole life she did. And you probably want that book. Okay, give me $10. I don't know. I'll sell it to you. You can give it back, and you'll get the money back, whatever. So I bought the book for my girlfriend. She didn't want it anymore. I bought the book.
So
and the
you're
whole book
more
is about angels.
So,
and how would I know that? How would I know that book is on the shelf? I don't know the writer. I have never seen my girlfriend's shelf before. It was a brand new friend. I'm hanging out in her house, and I'm telling her through my words, but it's not Arly speaking, obviously. We have to get you a book, Arly. We want you to have a book on this girl's shelf. Buy it or borrow it or get it. It's a book you need to read. It's about us. And that's what happened. It was about archangels.
So I'm trying to figure out if you are just more attuned to the universe around you, that you pick up all different kinds of energies, or I don't know. I'm really at a loss. Yes, that you're more tuned.
And the answer is yes and yes and more yes. And I do speak other languages, and we would say otra vez in Spanish, or mehr, which is more in German.
When did you discover this about yourself?
I have funny stories. I have secrets that I don't usually talk about that much, but my father's father was one of the top psychics in Europe. Actually, is it genetic?
So genetic.
No one knows it's genetic. There's no proof of this.
No.
There's no proof that I could get this gift from my grandfather on my father's side. But my grandfather.
Did you know him? Did you spend time with him?
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
So maybe
he had the famous story about him is that he was Romanian. My family's Romanian. This is giving a lot of my more secrets away. We're Eastern European, and we're from all over the world, but we're Eastern European, a lot of us. My father was French. He was born in Paris, and they lived in Paris, and my grandfather was reading a lot of famous people. He told them about their lives. He was very, very psychic. He used to throw the tarot. I don't do the tarot. Well, I should. That's not true. I don't want to tell my fans out here that I throw the tarot, but I don't do it for a living. But I'm totally accurate with tarot.
All right,
but I don't do it for people.
Let's just follow the track that you did spend a lot of time with your grandfather.
I spent time, but he wanted to teach me the gifts of the paranormal. And my mother was very religious, and she didn't want my grandfather to do that. So there was a lot of
conflict.
Yes, like you're talking about conflict this whole interview, and the conflict in my family was very high because they're religious, and with that particular belief systems, I think my mother was afraid. My mother might have had. My brother is very psychic, and he's Western medicine, and he's a surgeon out in L.A. And he's told me recently that our parents were psychic. And they told him and they didn't tell me. Which I'm like, what?
Was he the oldest child?
No, I am. There's 4 of us and I'm the oldest. And there's 2 kids who are my cousins who I call my brother and sister. And we're all psychic. The whole family has the gifts, I believe. But they didn't want to say it.
Okay, I'm not sure why. They didn't want you to.
Why don't people want to have the gift? They burned witches in Italy, in Europe. The Crusades.
All right, let's
assume have the gifts. Okay. Let me just say let me just finish this.
Sure.
I have clients who are Cherokee. A lot of my clients are Cherokee Nation. They're Native American. They'll come to me, like one particular beautiful family that I love. I see the whole family. The family came to me and they told me that they all had the gifts. They didn't know it, but they all had them. And they had to stuff the gifts because in our world, it's spooky. Like if you know something about someone on the other side of the world, you could think you're nuts. Or if you hear angels or you see, my clients are very gifted, many of them, and many of them have the gifts. But like one of them runs a bank. She's CEO of a major bank. She has the gifts. She's not going to be able to tell people at the job that she can see these kind of things, or she feels this kind of stuff. People look at it like, are you a nut?
Well, they might think that you're a nut, but
to say the least. And also, you have a lot of power when you have these kind of gifts. You have to use them for the light. You have to use these gifts to heal people, to help people. You can't use these gifts to hurt anybody. You do no harm. You know, we take rules, or I study. How did I get the gifts? Well, I had them, and then I studied at mystery schools. And you have to take an oath. I had to take an oath. I was given Archangel Michael. This sounds crazy. I was given Archangel Michael. I was.
Okay.
I went to a mystery school, which is, I can't say the name of it. It's a mystery school.
Thank you.
Again, so a lot of this is esoteric. It's very profound. I was on the Alan Colmes show, Fox News.
Go back to
I just
your...
want to say, Alan Colmes said to me, how did you get the gifts? And I told him a lot of things, and then he said to me, okay, read me. And the night before, I had rehearsed some of what he might say because I have the gifts. So I knew he would say that. So I said to him on the air, I can't because I rehearsed this already the night before, and I knew you would ask this question. And he couldn't speak. He just said to me, did you have my script, he said. Okay.
Well, I think having the gift is, I'm sure yours is very highly tuned, because it's something that you've been working with and been aware of for a long time. But I mean, therapists, we all have our different gifts in different ways. And in the healing world, having these gifts makes you more available to take in the other person. And I think, however, whatever we call it, being an archangel or just being in tune with the patterns and rhythms of the person who's in front of you, all of that provides the kind of juice that we use in the working with other people. And having a gift is very special when you cultivate it and you use it. I love that. Use it for the light. I think that's really it's a wonderful image, of using something for the light, because, as you said, it does have a certain amount of power, but power used in a way to enhance and aid somebody is so much more powerful than using it something maybe to enhance your financial well-being or something like that. I mean, it's to be used skillfully.
The angels are funny. Maybe they use my sense of humor. They make a lot of jokes. I mean, some patients, some people that come in are having very severe trauma. A lot of my clients have a lot of trauma that comes up. And sometimes I won't bring it up. Like even when I start channeling, I begin a channeling session where I call the angels in. And then I write. I need to write because I'm what's called a lucid, LUCID channel. My clients know this. They kind of know what a lucid channel can do. And so I start the channeling, and I'm starting to speak for my clients. So I may say anything. It just happened recently. I don't want to say too much because I don't want it to give away who the client is. But we started and we said, I'm very concerned. I'm very nervous. I'm very confused. I feel like I've got two roads. I have to make a choice. A lot of people come in where they have to choose a relationship that they want to stay in, and the guides don't tell them do this or do that. It's really not like that. They won't say, oh, don't stay with that person. But they give them ideas about what their obstacles are. Like with the remote viewing, it's very fascinating. I can't believe I'm saying it on the air. The person will give me the name. Like recently, someone came in and she said, I have 3 names for you. I have 3 names. And she gave me the name of 3 people. And what were these people? She's working, she's a filmmaker. And these people have to do with her project. And she wants to know if this particular director is going to be good for her. And it's a normal question. She's not trying to do any harm, but she wants to know if the project is going to go well. And we'll tell her. We're not going to say it's not going to go well, but we're going to tell her what the personality of the person is like. And she'll agree. She'll go like, oh, my God, yes. But we'll tell her how to maneuver around this, like how to be with this person in love or in dignity or with respect. Like this person maybe just had an upset that she won't know about, like a divorce, or something happened to them that's major. And that's why they're so frustrated in the past week or two or whatever. And once she knows that, she can calm down and go, wow, it's not about me. And I can be kinder to him. I can make him coffee or, I don't know, hold his hand or take him out to dinner and just say, you want to talk? You know, it's very soothing in a way to kind of know the overview or the backstory or you know, like even like reading a book. I read a lot of books. I'm sort of a scholar. I read a lot. But I read between the lines because I like to put two and two together and figure out, well, what are they saying? What did happen there? Because I'm interested in politics also. So I want to know, well, why did that happen? How did that happen? What is the etiology on that? You know, I guess because I'm interested in medicine, so I always want to know, well, people come and say, like this African guy came to me, he has migraines. And he said, Arly, you have to heal me. Please, please, please. And I asked him a lot of questions, like, what do you eat? What happened when you left your country? Do you have any trauma right now? And he has a lot of things that will he eats a lot of peanuts, and peanuts have something called the afloratoxin. Some people shouldn't eat a lot of peanuts. Peanuts are a toxin. We shouldn't feed our kids peanut butter. I've been taught that by Robert Young. Peanuts, even though they're organic possibly, are not that good for a lot of people. Maybe Thailand. Maybe the Thai people have some kind of thing in their body. I'm not making fun. I love Thai food. But certain people around the world can eat certain foods because it comes from their culture.
That's right.
And maybe it's okay with them. But then it comes to the West, and it's not okay with other people.
Well, not everything translates from one place.
Exactly.
Right. But, you know, I think, you know, what you're saying is, I mean, I know you channel, but at the same token, you know, therapists and healers, we all go back and look at patterns, the backstory, the connections between their past and present. And all of that informs us as to what direction that we can help to guide our clients. I think what's different is that even though you said that you don't come up with an actual answer, do this or do that, it does inform people as to what some of the options and choices might be. And that's a lot of what therapy does too. It talks about all the nuances in a situation, and many people want an answer.
I do give answer. Okay, I don't want to say that I'm not bland. I've never been called bland in my work. The angels are active, and I am too. I like people to. I'm very organized when I work, so I'll channel and I'll write it down. They'll put it on their iPhone, they'll tape it, and then I'll go back to what was said because I don't really know what it means. You know, like a lot of things are thrown at this person, their thoughts, their feelings, their ideas, facts about something, and we'll ask, is this correct? And they'll go, yes. And then I'll read it back. I'm very good at this. I don't know how I do this. This is maybe part of how I segue with the guides and myself and my background in NLP and all the different things I do. And I'll make sense of it with them. I'll make sense of what came up, and we'll make sense of, all right, what actions could they take, or what do they need to do, or how can they feel about that, or how do you feel about that, or, you know, what would be healing for you, or what's the next step? Like in the corporate world is very interesting. I find my corporate clients very interesting since I say I had a corporate background, which is very true. So I do understand a lot of what they're going through because I did it. I went through that. And they want to change lines. You know, they want to make a line change. Like one of my friends went from law to social work. That's hard. That's hard to do that. It's
actually a blending. I have a lot of colleagues who have done that, the combo, because it's almost like they want to be on both sides of the line.
They do.
And
they do.
having a legal background exactly. In working in the social work field or in the community really actually is a tremendous advantage because it gives you more punch and power to navigate multiple systems. And I think that's what you do. I was thinking about that. Yes. You navigate many different systems and you use all the resources available internally and externally to pull in and work with your clients. If you make yourself available to use the resources that are present and available to you. And I think that's really
true.
Yeah,
I think that's true, because I'm trying to think. Like someone will come in, like people even call me. It's kind of like almost like you know, the joke about eating Chinese food. It's 1 from column A and 2 from column B. And it's kind of like my work is almost like that. So they come, or they'll call on the phone, they'll call from the internet, or they'll be referred by a lot of their friends, and they'll say, okay, well, I see you do a lot of different types of things. What do you suggest for me? I don't suggest for them. I'll say to them, what do you want to work on? And don't tell me too much information. Like, because if I channel, I don't like a lot of information really about the person. I won't Google the person. Because I don't want to have a notion.
Sure.
Exactly. I don't want an idea about what I think about the person from Arly's judgment, from Arly's worldview. I really want the guides to come in clearly and love this person and help them with my help, but I want the guides to really come in without my preconceived ideas about what I think this person. I do it that way in the West, in the Western way of doing things, my way, the Western way as well. I need to know what's going on, so I'll ask them, what's bothering you? What is your history? How many injuries have you had? What happened to your spine? And I'll look at them also. They'll stand up in front of me. I'll look at how they walk. I just did this recently. I did a fair at the vitamin shop, and I was looking at people, how they walk, you know, because I have a lot of study in injuries, sports injuries, and I'm very good with helping people heal very fast. The reason is because I'm a medical intuitive, like we said earlier, and I know exactly where to place my hands where the pain is. And they'll go, oh, my God, you got it. I didn't have to show you the painful area. I got it, because I can see the body, because I have these gifts. So it's very interesting combination, but I like to hone in on what's best for them, but not tell them what to do. In other words, I won't tell them, I think you should come and get the energy work. I'll ask them first, what's best for you? And also I have a sliding scale. That's very important to say. If the money is an issue, I have a sliding scale. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of my colleagues, and I'm not judging, I hope they don't kill me as I'm saying it on the air, they're too expensive, and a lot of regular folks can't afford it.
Arly, you need to say your name and your website again, because we're going to have to wrap up very soon.
My name is Arly, A-R-L-Y, and my last name is Fox, F as in Frank, O-X, Daly, D-A-L-Y. And the website is www.energy, E-N-E-R-G-Y, healing, H-E-A-L-I-N-G, road, R-O-A-D.com, 646-633-8710. And also my aromatherapy company is youngliving.com. And my member number is 2732. Yes.
I think your website is really fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
Arly, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This has been a very provocative and energizing conversation. And so I wanted to just say this is Lynn McElroy-Mara from City World Radio, and the show is Better Days, A Positive Approach to Life. If you're looking for my other shows, you can go on City World Radio and search for them.